in on the Ember Spirit. We could certainly see a chance of that happening. We saw obviously kind of the bearless build Lone Druid yesterday from Wing. It didn't work out.
Hey,
but
that's a bear.
There was a bear.
It wasn't the lonely
The naked bear. It was the naked bear.
The naked bear, not
the
lonely druid.
No. But that, I mean, Lone Druid, you know, historically, that's something that Aui's pretty amazing at.
Yep.
So it could happen.
Is he going to play the lonely druid way though? Purge.
I think it's
cannon?
better right now. The perfect counter was in the game. I actually can't remember what they had. Oh yeah, Raging does double the crit versus the bear. It's a very good counter against Lone Druid. We saw, I think, OG originally used it at like ES or Manila Major.
This was what I was talking
So we
about
actually saw them pick this up yesterday as well, right?
Yeah, this is the same stuff from MP. They played MSS Darkseer and Rose on the Breaker yesterday, yeah.
Oh, good space creation. It's covers that roaming thing. You can help with all lanes. You can even do easy stuff like cast Iron Shell on Spirit Breaker. He can TP somewhere else and then charge. And then technically, it's like having 1.5 heroes in a lane. Lots of extra damage for us.
It definitely allows them to match the early game aggression from Fnatic, because I think this game is going to revolve around Ohio and Febby trying to create space on the middle lane for In Your Dream.
Yeah. I think almost for sure NP would love to get Ember. Ember Darkseer, very standard combo. We'll see if it gets banned out in the second phase.
Some learning from the first day as well in there, the first ban Meepo.
Absolutely, and also relevant as well, I think the Naga ban. I think as these two are saying, these are teams they're going to want to fight. Naga incredibly good at resetting the fights, and also, again, one of Aui's strongest.
And the Mirana Naga was what we saw yesterday in combo as well, wasn't it?
Disruptor!
Yeah, so I guess just, take you both out.
Very good. Disruptor, very good at shutting down Spirit Breaker charge, just glimpse him back.
It's good in the lane against Darkseer whenever he's alone as well.
Yeah.
So, definitely a good pickup. I was worried that they pick up the Bounty Hunter, which I don't think is particularly strong against
Hasn't looked good,
it would be suicide if they picked it against us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really nice as well synergy with the Slardar with his Corrosive Haze, of course. He can get that vision. It makes it even easier to glimpse back opponents from a long range and trap them.
It's a nice Corrosive Haze usage there.
Yeah, drop the correct name.
Standing here.
They changed all the names.
All of his skills.
I don't know why they did.
Well, which one is it? Amplify damage?
It used to be Amplify.
okay.
Jacob's still using Priestess of the Moon and...
I'm still in Dota 1.
He's still in Dota 1. He hasn't actually moved on yet.
Nothing wrong with that.
People stick with their glory years, Paul. It's like you and the, I don't know, 1800 or something.
When I was playing Emerald Tournament in black and white.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Sure.
In real life, with swords.
In real life.
Stealer ban. Very active.
Very strong yesterday as well.
I think Kevin brought up a good point. Banning out the Ember Spirit is, or was it Owen? Banning out the Ember Spirit is definitely, should be a priority for Fnatic.
Should be a good second phase ban here, shouldn't it?
Unless they want it themselves.
I mean, it's great anti-mobility as well. So against Slardar, it's one of the best solutions. Just Searing chains him and he's like, just screwed pretty much. We saw that, I think, when VP was playing Slardar, I believe. If you're not initiating with Slardar, you're going to have a bad time.
Jug also used an awful lot yesterday.
Yeah, it really was. Can't wait for that hero to get nerfed again. It's just too safe. Like, no matter which way you lane him, he's good at fighting early. You hit 6, you can start getting solo kills, you can jungle fast with Coiling Blades, and
hey man,
pummel the
it doesn't
Dominators.
work against Omni anymore. That's a nerf.
What doesn't work against Omni? Oh, Diffusal? I don't think that really matters. Because you still buy Diffusal every game anyways.
Sort of the point.
Okay.
So, irrelevant nerf.
Okay. Irrelevant nerf. Yeah.
Shadow nerf.
It actually did get quite nerfed though. You can't use it on yourself anymore. It's kind of big.
For Jog though, not as big.
Yeah, absolutely not. He would have been good with the Iron Shell as well. So with the Timber ban, I think that's possibly telling here. It doesn't really lane well against Darkseer Spirit Breaker, so it's probably a ban against what NP want to draft. It might be lane focus. Like, there's a lot of heroes that do have laning problems against Timbersaw. Could be maybe like a strength through mid or something that they plan to run.
That's a good point. You think they could go for Dragonite?
I don't think they'll pick it this early. Who was that team that did that yesterday? They grabbed Timbersaw mid, they got him 7, and they instantly shifted him to the offlane and bullied the carry. That was really cool. I don't remember which team it was. It's another laning advantage. CM, kind of a bad hero, but kind of good too, situationally. Free mana for Darkseer and Spirit Breaker is really good.
When she gets 25, I just saw Wagamama, the glorious
5 seconds remaining.
slasher level analyst, also saying that Frostbite gets really good.
It gets an extra 1.5 seconds, so it goes up to 4.5 with a 6 second
Then she gets an Octarine core and you can keep them permanently.
Yeah.
And with the Axe as well, because of course with the Axe ultimate, people get frostbitten all around you.
And then she gets a Divine Rapier, and she would never be able to farm any of those items,
and that
you
plus
idiots.
50 damage.
And then when you wake up, you know, it's like real life.
Ooh, I like this a lot.
Team pick.
Bit of Cottle.
It's good. Anti-mobility.
Saw a lot of bans on him yesterday as well.
Sort of unexpected though. I didn't think Fnatic would be a team to typically pick up a Keeper of the Light.
I mean, it kind of covers what the Lena did
As the
yesterday.
Ember.
There we go.
It covers what the Lena did because it can just push out lanes.
I mean, we saw this coming a long way out, way before the draft even started.
Yeah.
And definitely once they got through the second phase, and yet Fnatic haven't respected that as a ban.
Not sure what the Vengeful Spirit ban is about. It's not a hero you typically, well, unless they're going for, I don't know.
It's a core NP thing. Like,
Yeah,
they
I
were
would
running that
just
last
try
patch. I think
yeah.
they could easily do it again.
5
Maybe a little
seconds
unlikely,
remaining.
but I would say it's good against heroes like Disruptor and Slardar. Relatively good. I think the Disruptor Slardar is
Reserve
good against
time.
Ember, definitely. They won't always be the perfect solution, but they can work. So it's going to kind of come down to this like 10 to 25 minute period. Can Fnatic actually pressure Ember really well? They're also very magic damage focused right now on NP. A little all-in actually on one damage type. That could really hurt him.
Assuming Ember is going for the 7.0 build.
I assume, yes.
Yeah,
surely.
surely
Like,
will.
I mean,
Which
you're-
was successful yesterday with Wii, so
Yeah.
yeah, you've
they
already
were
got
releasing that.
No, I completely agree. It's just,
you got 3 other magic nukers on your team as well. Like, why not get a veil?
Radiant
Okay.
Oh,
team
well,
banned.
another new hero that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, one of so I imagine it'll be Mushi playing one of his strongest.
Fnatic is actually doing the exact opposite of what I hoped they would.
Fnatic
This is by no
turn to
means an
ban.
aggressive playstyle. This is just sitting back, farming up.
It's almost playing
Taking
into
control.
MP's hands, isn't it?
I mean, he has had some amazing late game Ember Spirit games where he could carry his team on his own.
Maybe there's some like abusive thing here with
10
Medusa.
seconds
Oh, was
remaining.
that a cameraman throwback from the Reddit threads? Did you guys see the instant zoom in?
Yeah.
5
That's good.
seconds
It's
remaining.
like an MLG thing. Medusa with Keeper is kind of cool. You can increase your mana pool with Chakra Magic.
Reserve time.
Maybe Snakes are really effective. Does
Fnatic
Mana Shield works
turn to
okay
pick.
against amped magic damage, I guess, because it damage blocks before the magic amplification. But
What about her talent tree? Anything interesting in this?
it's all boring pretty much. She gets like plus int, maybe some agi here or there. Manta is better on her, and Mushi
10
does love building
seconds
Manta on Medusa
remaining.
because now your illusions get attack speed bonuses, so maybe that's the joke.
5 seconds remaining.
I wanted to have 18 snakes available at 25.
It's possible. You could throw a lot of
Reserve
snakes,
time.
maybe.
Cool.
I mean, it's basically anti-team fight in a lot of ways.
Hello.
Radiant team
No.
pick.
So this pick I like a lot, and it matches up pretty well against the Ember Spirit as well.
Yeah, you need
If
something
you-
to get rid of that flame guard.
Yeah, if you do want something up against him, Queen of Pain is that one.
What do you think about the Invoker ban? I mean, no one seems to be talking too much about Invoker at the moment.
seconds
Pros
remaining.
particularly are
Again, I
saying it's not good right
I would have thought Queen of Pain would have been the better
5
ban.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, Invoker's basically just not touched. She doesn't even get 2 Forge Spirits until he's level 15 now.
Reserve
I wonder
time.
what they're going to be, because I guess we are still looking for Aoi's here if it is indeed going to be Envy on the
They-
Ember Spirit. I mean,
Slot.
oh, okay.
Oh, we're going to go with a Slark instead.
I like that a lot, actually. Can drain stats from Medusa. Pretty survival. Weak disables from Fnatic as a whole. It's a good pick.
Not very good against the Queen of Pain, but still a very, very decent pick.
They've got Frostbite. They've got Ember Root. They've got Spear Breaker Charge. They've got tons of disables for her.
I thought they could have gone for a tiny, potentially, but I think the Slag is overall better because of the Medusa, yeah.
Way better against Medusa.
Yeah, but the tiny would have been great against the Queen of Pain.
Okay, all right. Thank you, all three of you. We'll hear more from our expert panel, of course, at the end of our first game. But now let's head over to the commentary team for game one between NP and Fnatic.
That's right, one time here at ESL One Genting. Blitz and I are going to be casting together Fnatic versus Team NP. Blitz, we were already having a discussion quite a bit about the draft. What are your thoughts about those final couple of pickups?
I think the
10
Slark pick was really
seconds
good.
remaining.
He doesn't have a lot that he has to worry about too much. He can always shed things off. The Disruptor is kind of the key hero for me here because I feel like it's very easy for this Disruptor to just get wrecked in this game. It's one of those heroes where if you're ahead, you can continue to get ahead.
Prepare for battle.
All right, well, we're going to already start off with some early smoke rotations coming out from Fnatic as they try and get some aggressive wards in. We were talking about the Dusa, right? And it felt like Dusa, I thought maybe it was a bit too slow of a hero for this patch, but NP didn't really have very strong high ground, but it seems like they did kind of rescue that with the Slark pickup, right? Now they have both Ember Spirit as well as Slark who can go late game against Dusa, while Fnatic have this tempo controlling mid of Queen of Pain who will probably drop off a little bit more than those other two, right?
The problem though is it's still very scary for Slark to go high ground against the Disruptor and the Slardar if he doesn't really have a save on his team, so it's very easy for NP to just get blown up trying to go for the high ground. For NP, the name of the game is you have to get as many kills as you possibly can. It's kind of reminiscent of the lineup that Wings had against DC in Game 2 of yesterday, where Wings had a really difficult time going high ground even with the Terrorblade because they had no lane push out. And so you just have to kill non-stop. And at some point they ran out of momentum, and I feel like that's going to be the name of the game. Can NP keep that momentum going? Can they just keep getting these pickoffs, and then they can roll to a win?
I just kind of called it brute force, I think it was. It was just kind of like, you have to fight, you just kind of like force these things, and if you can force these engagements, and then you can potentially take objectives, but you're always working on a timer, so you just kind of have to... Things aren't ideal, right? But most of the time you just kind of have to go for it anyway, because you don't want to go late game against that Naga Siren. And in this case, you probably don't want to go late game against that Slark.
Yeah. It's very annoying though for NP doesn't really have, I guess they have a Slark for a BKB hero.
Yeah.
They needed something with BKB because right now
Disruptor's so valuable.
Yeah, but I could really see Disruptor being useless in this game. It's one of those heroes where if you're initiating and you're Slardar, it's like a symbiotic relationship. If your Slardar has a good start, he can open things up for you, and then you get a really good opportunity to get your ultimates off.
Right.
Then this hero is sick. Then you just chase everybody down with you in the Slardar. But if you get behind, Yamate could just easily feel pretty useless in this game.
Yeah, he's not a very good hero. He feels very suffocated, and he can't actually respond very well, right? He's not a very strong reactionary hero. If we have a Spirit Breaker, Ember Spirit, or a Slark, there's 3 different heroes that can actually close the distance pretty quickly and actually get in somebody's face. Disruptor really doesn't have appropriate responses to that besides maybe a glimpse send back, and that's not a whole lot to cheer about.
Yeah, and right now at bottom, it is going to be a dual lane. I do like that they're doing this. I feel like, especially against the Radiant safe lane, you should try to punish this as much as possible. So what we should see here is the Coddle is going to use his blast quite early on to shove in the lane. Then they're going to use this area to pull in to the creep camp and just deny that farm.
Is it because of that pull that you feel like the Radiant safe lane is a lane that you want to pressure a bit more?
It just feels like the way that the lane is structured as well. Like, I feel like the Dire, if you go for a tri-lane, it's pretty easy to protect.
Yeah.
Even these dual lanes, that's why I think that In Your Dream is playing the Queen of Pain, because there's not a lot of heroes that can just straight up survive. You're not going to pick a melee core and put him up here just because you're going to have a dual lane.
Right.
That's why we see the advent of heroes like Gyrocopter coming back in.
Just because they're such strong laners and that they're able to transition into that fighting core that you really need in this kind of patch.
Yeah, precisely. And you don't really have to worry about them because no offlaner is really going to mess with Rocket Barrage.
We have Mushi as the Medusa here facing up against Eternal Envy. That's going to be pretty value, right? You've got this Mystic Snake facing up against a melee hero, and you are a pretty tanky hero that is going to be able to... He's not necessarily like a Juggernaut who could just shrug things off with a free spin, but it is one of the harder heroes to gank in the mid lane, right?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty dead lane. Neither hero is going to really pressure too hard. They should just be able to trade farm pretty easily. If anything, Mushi has some potential to die, but a Medusa is very rarely going to get a solo kill on anybody.
Right.
I think what they'd like to do is at some point you're going to Ion Shell Rose, and he's just going to try to gap close onto this Medusa, and they might try to attempt when NP gets a few levels.
SVG is going to be closed on here. Looks like Ohio does manage to hit the crush. They follow up and will easily bring him down. First blood going to Fnatic. Febby will pick that one up already. The aggressive dual lane of Fnatic's paying off big dividends.
Yeah, CM just not a hero that can contest very early in this lane. And like we talked about, this is going to be a very strong lane for Fnatic. They've invested a lot into this with the Coddle and the Slardar down here. And you notice Febby immediately pushes the lane, and he's going to try to drag this creep wave in. And that's what SVG has to try to stop.
I mean, that's supposed to be the big advantage of CM, right, is being able to utilize... they managed to catch Ohio, and Keeper of the Light still not coming back. Ohio's going to have to sprint himself away. Unable to hit the crush there. SVG stops it mid-animation, and they will manage to finish him up, evening up the score.
Yeah, and now up at top, MSS does have that Iron Talon up, was splitting XP with Rose. And Disruptor, not the best hero to try to contest this lane.
Yeah, Queen of Pain, maybe when they get level 5, level 6 on the quad, maybe they can actually burst through these tanky heroes, but until then, Disruptor feels a bit of lackluster when it comes to this laning phase. Both these supports, right, they have the same weakness, Disruptor and CM. Very easy to contest.
Yeah, you notice the mid, they waited for... This is exactly what I was saying. They waited for the level 4, they Iron Shell up the Spirit Breaker, and this should be enough for them to get the kill.
Easily enough. Mushi ends up going down, and Eternal Envy is going to take a big lead now in this lane, thanks in part to Rose. So you called the rotation perfectly. MSS, he backs himself up out of the lane, doesn't really feel necessary to be out there since he has the Iron Talon anyway, so the NP still managed to maintain a very efficient off lane while their 4 position is ganking mid.
I would have really liked it if they had gotten some vision on the north side, because you know that if you pick a Spirit Breaker and a Darkseer together, they are going to aggro dual lane. This is reminiscent of, you remember when NIP used to pick it first 2 every single game in those qualifiers? It's such a strong lane to mess with, just because you can rotate so easily to that mid lane.
Right. AUI, gonna try and contest these neutrals here, pick up as much as he can, but Bevy's Keeper of the Light is being a constant nuisance. Now with the level 2 blast. Quickly disables the south, but he is gonna be caught here. SVD does manage to get it with the Frostbite. Nice crush, but it's still not enough, as the Slark still have that death back going. And with the help of Ion Shell, they're going to be able to get that kill. Mushi, is he going to be fine here? Should be fine, right? Eternal Levy not going to be able to dive that tower. Mana Shield is just a bit too much for him to handle. Still, though, he is keeping the pressure on Mushi, as he's already feeling a bit scared after that gank from the Spirit Breaker earlier.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about that NP has to do. They just have to keep killing. At some point, your cores are going to not be able to really go high ground, so you need as big of an advantage as possible so you control the map, and you can just bludgeon them with your gold lead. And right now, you're seeing that happen. The combination of the Darkseer and the Spirit Breaker, this is exactly what they needed. And NP, this isn't enough. They need to continue the momentum going forward.
And that's at some point, right, when Fnatic's safe lane Queen of Pain will come into play, right? The NP is going to be trying to force these kills so often, but Queen of Pain can be that hero to rotate to kind of counter those aggressive moves by NP.
That was always the strength of heroes like Puck and Queen of Pain, is that they have that instant turnaround ability with their ultimates. When you jump into a lane, the Queen of Pain just TPs down, drops her ulti, it's almost always a kill. As at bottom, AUI gonna get harassed up, but he should be just fine.
SVG has to play this weird kind of role where he wants to be able to get that solo experience to Slark, right? Because it's so necessary for you to be able to get that level 6 early, but he still has to kind of remain close enough to the lane that he can help out AUI when necessary. Seems like this Slark is suffering a bit in CS because of all this pressure, currently sitting at 23 and 9.
Yeah, doing better than I thought he would though, overall, as the Queen of Pain up at top is more or less getting free farm. Hasn't really been contested too hard. This is more a lane that's just annoying as she's gonna get charged up, no longer has the blink.
If he actually gets the bash, or maybe just the damage over time is gonna be enough, and NP very easily killed that solo hero. He was getting all the free farm in the world. You were just talking about it, but NP, a big win there as they managed to cut that hero down to size a bit.
I mean, the problem there was she was taking some damage from the Ion Shell, so she got a little bit greedy, didn't think that Rose was going to be up here, and so far this Spirit Breaker has paid off in spades for them, as this top tower is now being contested. And this is the issue with when you contest a lane this hard, the Queen of Pain has to go back up there to shove out the wave, and that'll allow NP to know that she's not going to make that rotation into the radiant safe lane.
Yeah, I love that. TP down is going to be able to get this charge in. Ohio the target here. A good blast comes through, but it's not going to be nearly enough for a turnaround as AUI just backs himself away. Again, the Disruptor, not a strong enough support, but maybe he can actually bring a hero into position. Nice blast with a Mystic Stake, and they will manage to get Rose, but still, it cost them their Slardar, and that hero, you said, his timing is so important, right? His Blink Dagger is going to allow the Disruptor to be that much stronger of a hero, and if he gets set behind, it's going to be bad news for Fnatic, so that trade-off is probably worth it for NP.
Yeah, the problem is you have one of your cores that just isn't really a tempo setter in Mushi, and he has to be the one to rotate down just because the Queen of Pain has to deal with that top lane. And that's the strength of the Darkseer, is that he's always going to shove in that lane. And now you're in a position where it's Mushi that's making the rotations. He just wants to sit in his lane, trade a dead lane, farm as much as he can in this mid area.
Well, Queen of Pain going to be coming on here once again. Rose not getting the bash, that's necessary, but he will have the level 6 soon. At this point, it seems like the Queen of Pain, early on, it was fine for him to be the safe laner, but do you think that Fnatic should switch things up, push Mushi in that top lane? That way you have your tempo controller a little bit more free to move around the map, while the Dusa can deal with the constant pressure of the Darkseer lane?
I think there's some merit in making her go bottom and allowing the Slardar to even pick up his farm at top, but
okay, yeah.
Then again, it's going to be a Slardar against a Darkseer, and you don't really want the melee heroes up there. As Rose just going to fake the charge, and this is a very strong Spirit Breaker right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's had such a successful lane that before the 8-minute mark, he is level 6, so he's going to be such a threatening powerhouse. He could even potentially gank mid with an Ion Shell just with the extra power of his ultimate. In your dream, he's going to run into Rose here inside the jungle. It's going to be awkward. He's going to be hit by the charge. He still has the blink up, but they're going to try and chain stun him down here. Oh, the back with the vacuum. MSS, a clutch pickup there at level 7. Meanwhile, at bottom lane, the Archie start going on AUI. He does have his ultimate, though, and will be able to get out of glimpse range, it looks like, as Yamate trying to hunt for it, but it's just not
It's going to be a heavy rotation by both teams.
Yeah, Ohio's going to be caught here. The charge does manage to land out. They send Rose back just in time. 9 shells, not quite enough there. Now SVG is going to be the one caught. Nice kinetic field there from Yamate. Ensures an extra kill for Fnatic. 6-3 now as Fnatic just bring extra heroes to the bottom lane, and Disruptor's glimpse makes the extra difference.
Still a very smart rotation by AUI. They're going to try to punish this mid tower, and this is definitely not worth it for Fnatic. They want to rotate back into that mid lane. It's not worth it for them to give up this tower, hence why you're seeing the Queen of Pain move in. But this is heavy damage on this mid tower, and you still traded a CM for a Slardar, or for the Slardar to go back. He has pretty much no farm. Tranquil Boots at 9 minutes.
Queen of Pain getting caught here. Managed to get the blink back, no charge onto him. SVG was cutting across, but he's actually going to run into Ohio. Ohio looking to chase him down, but he doesn't really have that much support. In fact, it's going to be Eternal Envy cutting through the Shrine here. Ohio is going to play around. This is Crush. What a play from Eternal Envy, but there is the Shrine turn around. The Queen of Pain is going to be able to jump forward. The charge is coming through. They can't quite finish off SVG. A big blast holding on to it. Ohio hits the stun and barely blocks outside range. Now Gilpin goes off, and Rose may just use that as an escape until Glimpse pulls him right back in. But still, he got the kill he was looking for. Once again, the Slardar is going to be kept away from that precious Blink Dagger. And NP making bit of trade-offs here.
Yeah, that was a sick trade by both teams, as they all made the rotation in. That Shrine placement, though, this is the biggest difference in Dota, is you have to be careful where you fight in, just because nobody was really willing to go down in that area to the dire side. As Slardar does go down, and we were talking about how bad the game he's been having so far. Even less levels than this Disruptor.
That dual lane was supposed to provide a lot for Ohio, but unfortunately, he's now going to have to like take some farm from In Your Dream as he's kind of weakening up these neutrals for Ohio to be able to take. Need to be able to create space for him, but they don't really have much space creators, right? You don't have two supports that are super active and make things happen. They're a little bit more reactionary heroes, and then it's just all on In Your Dream as this Queen of Pain to make stuff happen, but he's already had a bit of a rough laning phase due to the pressure of the Spirit Breaker Darkseer combo.
Yeah, they're going to make their way down at bottom. SVG doesn't really have a lot of help here in this south side.
Through the trees until Ohio runs past SVG. Looks like they should still easily get this kill. SVG they have to do some crazy shit in his life, and that's not going to happen. So 7-5 now as Fnatic pick up another kill. But again, it does force them to bring 3 heroes to one lane, and NP are maintaining much better farm efficiency around the map with cores all over these other lanes and even jungle.
Once you see these first 2 major pickups in items for NP, I think that's when they're going to start ramping up the aggression. You're going to see the Shadow Blade onto the Slark, start fights, scout things out. It's hard for Fnatic to play that entire map out, just because if the Slark immediately just jumps on the Keeper of the Light of the Disruptor, that's going to be a kill every time.
Oh, this is going to be a combination. They have the Spirit Breaker and the Centaur picked up by the Helmet Dominator. BMSS misses the stun though, and Mushi just proves to be too tanky. Besides, the rest of Fnatic is swarming in from behind. They're looking to be able to catch somebody. Febby does not have a level in Mana Leak, so he can't actually do much to catch these very mobile heroes. Just scaring them away, it seems, as Yamate unable to get the glimpse that they really wanted.
Yeah, and that was not great for Fnatic. They rotated 5 heroes up there with the smoke, and they weren't able to get anybody. As NP, they can just wait, see if any stragglers are behind.
Do you agree with Febby's choice? I mean, you've got both the Darkseer and the Spirit Breaker, who are very mobile heroes who want to be able to use their running around movement to be able to do a lot. It seems like Mana Leak would help lock down those heroes.
You still want to farm, though. The Keeper of the Light Axe is going to be quite huge against the Sark.
Yeah. Oh.
There is some merit in picking up at least 1 level of it, but at the same time, I think he's just focusing on going later into the game. I mean, look at how much farm he has. He already has 1,700 gold and that point booster as a result of this build.
Yeah, he is actually the one here that's looking pretty decent on net worth. I guess In Your Dream, in comparison to the Ember Spirit, is not too bad, and Medusa is still getting a decent amount as well. Mushi currently sitting on Phase Boots and an Ogre Club. In this kind of patch, how does the Medusa build?
This'll come in handy.
I think going for Dragonlance is still pretty favorable.
Do you like maybe Mjolnir after that for some early damage and extra pushing power?
The only thing I kind of don't want to see this game is... I think Manta's still okay. You can't go both Manta and Lincoln though in a game like this.
Yeah.
You only pick up 1 defensive item.
Yeah, I would.
As Eternal Envy up at top, they do have the Disruptor level 6, but seems a little bit hesitant to use it.
Eternal Envy's already been pretty tricky with this Ember Spirit. Yamate does not want to blow that big ult, miss out. Yeah, that kind of ultimate being on cooldown would just allow NP to be so much more aggressive, because it's one of the few big teamfight abilities that Fnatic have to rely on. The other one being Queen of Pain's arsenal will Scream the Pain and
Radiant's
Sonic
middle
Wave.
tower
Yeah,
is
for
under
Fnatic
attack.
right now, their huge bright spot is that their cores are keeping up relatively well, aside from the starter, of course, but the Keeper of the Light pretty much is a core at this point. 3,600 net worth on him.
Yeah.
Not even that far behind Envy, as he's already got... He's going to have 3 of the 4 components of his Aghanim Scepter just 13 minutes into the game.
Be crazy.
The downside, though, is we talked about how Disruptor, I felt like he could easily have a rough game. He's got a wand, not really picking up too many levels, hasn't been able to drop that ultimate like we'd like for him to do. NP, we said they were going to wait for this huge pickup. The Shadowblade is online for AUI, and this mid tower is going to be where they want to go for.
Heavy invasion, but it is going to be scattered out by Fnatic. His successful scan is out.
I think they know that NP's trying to make a move for this mid lane is Rose going to wrap around. The smoke's going to break. He knows they're on the south side.
He's holding for now while the rest of his heroes are going to try and back him up. We still have this Shadowblade Trigger. Might have seen him. Oh, they do manage to get the charge outside the kinetic field. Rose is going to be brought back, it looks like, by a glimpse, but AY can start coming forward now to try and help out Rose, or maybe they're just going to give him up. AY comes forward now, they're going to go straight for Gummy. He's going to get off his ultimate, but it may not be enough. It looks like the Queen of Pain gets off the ult, but it's just not enough. Lucy he popped his ultimate trying to survive through all this, but Envy is big, he's going in time. TM for the hit ult. TM ult, he does something, but it's not enough. AY managed to get out, and NP very clearly wiped Fnatic easily with their cores staying very healthy.
That was so well done for them as Rose took up so much of that damage up. And the Disruptor just couldn't land his clean ultimate off with the ring as well. And NP just ran them over, and this is exactly what we were talking about, what they had to do. You have to get into these skirmishes because it's not easy for you to just straight up siege towers.
Yeah, it seemed like they were just like, all right, Rose is going to get sent back. They're going to blow so much on him, and this is going to be a prime opportunity for both AUI and Eternal Envy to be able to jump in. And it wasn't even close. Both those heroes were very healthy and were very easily able to go for more if there was anything left from Fnatic.
Yeah, and so far, all 3 cores don't have a death to their name. These 2 supports have tanked up so much of the attention on the side of Fnatic.
And they still maintain a decent amount of net worth, sitting at both around that 2,500 area.
5 deaths on SVG, but he doesn't really care. He's a 2,300 net worth Crystal Maiden. All of his deaths don't really mean too much. The Spear Breaker has done more than his fair share in a game like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
As I think they should go for aggression again. You have to get kills before you can push towers. That's the name of the game right now for NP. Going for Roshan also isn't really an option. They don't have that hero with negative armor. Not a lot of physical damage on a core like Ember is. You're going to see them smoke up here. And this is exactly the kind of move that you want to make. Invading the enemy jungle or even going straight up into the old area where Roshan used to be.
Invading their kind of off-lane jungle area. And then from there, what, they try and take the tier 1 bottom?
Yes. As that's exactly what they're going to go for. They're going to run into this Queen of Pain.
That's perfect. Going to be able to lock him down with Frostbite, follow up with Spear Breaker. That combination is easily a kill. And AUI is actually searching for more. Night backing back into the Centaur stun. What a beauty. AUI pops his ultimate, does manage to get off the Dark Pack. Hopefully he's going to be able to catch one more. Yamate is going to be latched off by the pounce. Rose will easily claim that kill instead. 3 heroes down from Fnatic, and P very clearly getting the objective they wanted out of that smoke. Will turn it into a tier 1 tower as well.
That was so well done by AUI. He notices that his team is already going to mop up, so he continues to look for more. As a result, they pick up 3 kills total. And we're seeing the weakness of a hero like Disruptor in a game like this, where he has to play passively. His Keeper of the Light's farming, and so you're just not using this catch hero very well because your Slaughter just doesn't have the prerequisite amount of farm. It's 17 minutes in, still doesn't have that Blink Dagger. And right now, as a result, NP just rolling. And Fnatic just can't make moves if the Slaughter doesn't have a Blink Dagger. They're never going to get a clean Disruptor ultimate off.
Fast rotation is going to catch Ohio. Very beautifully done by NP. The quick rotation by Eternal Envy up there to that tier 1 tower stops Ohio from being able to TP out. And again, they'll keep that Blink Dagger at bay. He was actually getting somewhat close to it. And you keep on like this combination, Disruptor's just not allowed to be the hero that he really wants to be without this strong initiator from Fnatic.
Yeah, and right now, honestly, Yamata must hate this game right now because there's not a lot of moves for him to make. If you notice, his team is just getting picked off across the map, and they're just farming. There's not a whole lot that they can do without farm. So you've got 2 or 3 heroes farming one lane, another farming the jungle, and so it's easy for the Slark to set up, for the Spear Breaker to just run in, because he knows that he's not really going to go contested.
Charge from Rose will force the TP. Is he going to be able to get out, though? Yamate
looking for the glimpse. He should find the angle.
And that will be a very easy one-off takeoff. Maybe Eternal Envy wants to go back in, though. He's actually going to try and challenge up a bit, trying to help out Rose. Rose is actually getting away with the help of Surge. Danger Dream is going to be able to play him up and link into AUI. That's going to be a nasty one. turns around, throws out the ult, knows that he's dead, just tries to get the damage done. And Fnatic will try and hold behind their tier 2 tower. Looks like NP were a bit too low after that Sonic Wave to try and pursue for more.
And again, NP trading a support just so one of the cores on the side of Fnatic goes down. I mean, this is some next level Titanic stuff where they're just sacrificing themselves. The cores still don't have a single death. None of the cores on the side of NP.
Well, they're getting close to at least one big upgrade for Fnatic. That Aghanim Scepter is coming up. Mushi is slowly but surely building up damage, but it's still going to be a while before it becomes like a true core, right? It's still just, right now, he's in this farming time. He needs probably a good, what, 15 minutes? Before he actually becomes a threat in team fights?
Yes, and the bigger thing, I guess the good news for Fnatic is that once they pick up the Blink Dagger and Slaughter, they can start making moves. And with how far ahead NP is, if you kill any other cores, you can slow down a lot of the momentum. We already talked about the difficulty that NP has in going for the high ground. You notice at bottom, all they could really take was a tier 1 as a result of those kills. They're never going to be able to transition just a straight up push. You have to get a kill or 2 minimum and then go for the push right thereafter. And so even with this lead, you can still play behind this Medusa. But for the rest of Fnatic's cores, they have to get moving. You need the Slardar Blink Dagger more than anything before you make a smoke play. Like this, Yamate has had the smoke for quite a while, hasn't really been able to use it. They're going to use it before the Blink Dagger comes onto the Slardar. Might be a mistake.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like they're going to push through their own jungle to try and clear that one out. They do have this aggressive ward that I think maybe spotted the Spirit Breaker.
This is just more time that Ohio's not really farming out.
Yeah. Similar rotation coming out from NP as they're actually backing up Eternal Envy in this bottom lane. Maybe they thought the Blink Dagger was already up on the Slardar and that smoke rotation was coming for Jackie at bottom, but...
I think they wanted to clear out their jungle for the Medusa, but at the same time, Ohio, 20 minutes in, this Blink Dagger pickup's going to be huge for them. They can still kill anybody in the game with this combo, the Slardar into the Disruptor Static Storm.
Yeah, we don't have a BKB yet for AEY, and the Ember Spirit is naturally squishy, so high net worth heroes, potential for a big comeback here if Fnatic can actually make the execution on their initiations.
I still think it's relatively simple for Fnatic to get back into this game. They just need 1 or 2 pickups onto the cores. But NP has done a very good job of making their cores scarce and just sending in rows to scout everything out.
At the same time, right, the Slardar's Crush, it does have enough of an animation that NP should always be able to counterplay those 2 cores, right? They have the Slard who can go ahead and Shadow Dance very early on, and then you have, more importantly, the Ember Spirit who can jump away before the Crush hits, so... He does have the Blade Mail now alongside that Veil of Discord, so this is your big mid-game Ember Spirit. He's getting into one of his big peaks where he is a powerhouse damage dealer.
Yeah, and this is where I'd really like to see them use the smoke. Is they've got this Blink Dagger, they don't want to quite reveal it yet. And Mushi getting close to that Manta style, that's exactly what we were talking about. It's either the Lincoln or the Manta, but there's a lot more use for the Manta as NP, they realize they have to get aggressive. If they're going to transition anything into a push, an AUI going to be sent forward as in your dream, blink forward.
Yeah, unfortunate. Using that blink like that is easily going to be caught. Eternal Envy, which is just going to be able to find Yamate. They search for more after that. Fnatic looks like they have gotten themselves away. Once again, just not able to be the initiators. They are going to be able to catch that nice snag there from Eternal Envy. A mega kill streak already for AUI. He just picked up the Echo Saber, and he is now not too far away from that BKB that is just going to stop every bit of aggression from Fnatic.
Yeah, this is exactly what we wanted to see. NP immediately going to transition this into a push. And Fnatic, again, just kind of getting caught, split up around the map. They seem way too content to just farm. I think they have the idea that maybe this Dusa can just hold the high ground. NP doesn't have the best way to go high ground. But at the same time, you're not going to get a lot of value out of your supports anymore. As
Eternal Envy, this is really a problem for him at all. AUI is also in the jungle. He's going to be able to catch Mushi. Mushi does manage to get off his ulti just before he ran out of mana. But no, they're not actually going to pursue. In Your Dream was coming back up anyway, so a bit too dangerous to try and go out there.
And SVG just solo taking this tower, going to get denied as Mushi going to TP bottom to try to shove out this wave. and you really want to see Fnatic make a move as 5.
Yeah, I mean, because that window is closing, right? We're soon going to come into a game that it's the Queen of Pain and the Slardar and even the Disruptors to a certain extent, they're just not really going to be that effective anymore, and it's just going to be all pressure on Mushi to perform.
AUI going to get spotted out here.
Bevy is going to be the first target here. AUI is going to pop his ultimate rather early on. Bevy tries to protect himself, but will get taken out by the slow burn of the Ember Spirit.
Yeah.
NP just pick up that 1 kill and will back themselves away.
I mean, they're definitely just waiting for daytime before they make any sort of move, but even then, it just feels so slow. A minute left to go till daytime, and that's when I'd imagine Fnatic is going to start making their rotations around the map.
They just don't feel comfortable making those aggressive maneuvers against the Slark's nighttime vision.
It just isn't easy, and if you ever keep her alive with ag, why not abuse that? But at the same time, it just feels like they're waiting and waiting and waiting. First they had to wait for the blink dagger on the Slardar, now they have to wait for the daytime to utilize the keep of the light axe.
Yeah, we already said their timing was rather limited. Waiting that extra 4 minutes is just going to cost them here an Aegis on Eternal Envy. So if it wasn't nighttime, now they're going to have to fight into an Aegis in daytime.
And Mushi, a lot of heroes sitting behind him, is in your dream on the south side of the map. It is daytime now.
What does a Queen of Pain do at this point in time, right? You can't, like, it feels like the Orchid's not really going to be acceptable just because AUI is far enough ahead that BKB is actually coming in for him already. Ember Spirits.
He's going for the Lincolns.
He's going for the Lincolns, so he will have a response to that Orchid. So is that item really the choice still for the Queen of Pain?
I think it's okay, but he's kind of in a position where there's not a lot of items to get.
Yeah.
And right now, we see Fnatic all gathered up on this north side of the map, looking like they might try to go for a smoke, but instead just gonna make their way towards the mid lane.
I mean, if you're grouped up like that and you're not actually smoking, that says very bad things about the way you feel this game is going.
I mean,
they're so scared of NP's pick off from their cores.
It's pretty much Mushi has to 1v5 do damage in this game, and he's got a great hero for it. It's just the rest of the heroes on his team don't really have a game as a result. You'd really like to see them smoke, make some kind of move after this clearing of creeps as NP smoked up themselves. They know they're looking for the engagement.
Maybe in your dream is going to be the target here. AUI, he gets the pounce or they get the Ember Spirit lash, but neither one's going to be able to go there. Cancel the charge, and Fnatic will stay heavily grouped up. But that's the thing, right? It's like NP, they don't necessarily need to try and be aggressive. They're not even a team that is known for a whole lot of aggression. They are a little bit more farm-oriented. So Fnatic are playing this sort of sit 5-man and, you know, sit behind the Medusa and wait for some sort of initiation. But NP are more than willing just to take all the free space in the world and continue to farm up on their cores.
Yeah. In the middle, you see the Medusa still has the highest net worth. She's primarily being used to shot the wave, so no surprise there. The next 3 heroes, all NP heroes by significant margin. The Spearbreaker, really close to the Slardar in the net worth. And the Crystal Maiden has a Blink Dagger at 1100 gold.
Do you think Adusa can actually beat both a Slark and an Ember Spirit if we go late game?
It's hard, but anything's possible because you have that instant jump of the Slardar.
Yeah.
This is the one advantage that their lineup has, is that it's hard for NP to get that instant jump off. You're pretty much just waiting for AUI to get some kind of initiation.
Is under attack.
And on top of that, the Spearbreaker, you're going to see him coming.
Yeah. We also said that NP didn't really have the best high ground pushers in the world. They instead went for just more late game with their last pick. And that means pushing high ground, already a problem. You're also pushing into a Medusa, which probably has a lot more value as a high ground defender because of their shrines, extra value.
Yeah, and at the bottom.
Oh, nice stun there. They might just be able to finish off this Aegis of Eternal Envy, but it is just an Aegis. It does manage to catch Mushi in place long enough for the rest of NP to make their rotation. Oh, the back motion! Nice back into the wall, but the ultimate's already going out for the Medusa, hoping to be able to slow down these heroes. AUI just continuing to focus him down, though, with the BKB will bring down the big carry of Fnatic, while the rest get cleaned up by Eternal Envy. Picked up 2, going for a 3rd, and your dream does manage to blink himself away just in time, but he's trying to stay outside of vision to make sure he doesn't get caught. It is going to be blinked on. They need a charge, and there it is in your dream. He's going to have a hard time escaping from this one. Kills the creep that they were trying to boots of travel onto.
They want
and
this.
will get to the shrine, but the charge is still going to come through. In that one, pops the Necronomicon, managed to burn through his mana, and they are going to be able to latch him down long enough for the kill. AUI picks up a wicked 6th streak, 25-8, as NP will take one of the last remaining tier 2s.
And Fnatic, they heavily overrated how tanky their Dusa was going to be. she wasn't able to really deal damage in the back lines to scare anybody from NP. They went so aggressively forward behind that beautiful back wall by MSS, and they're going to transition this into a push. And to try to solve some of their issues of going high ground, you see that Rose is committed to this Necrobook build.
Yeah. Very interesting, particularly powerful against the Queen of Pain and the Medusa. He's got the lockdown, and he's going to be able to get so much mana burn. You've also got that little bit of attack speed aura. That's helpful.
Hype going to be picked up by MSS. They're very heavily committing to the high ground as up at top. Bushi going to get caught up. He's in no man's land. Nobody really near him. His TPs are going to start flying out, but he's out of mana.
BKB going to be activated. Bushi's just done for. They've already canceled their TPs. They know NP's going to take that tier 2. Ember Spirit is actually looking for some heroes in mid. Almost caught Yamate, but he's actually still searching for it. He's going deep in. He does manage to pop the shrine though, and Yamate will survive because of that shrine usage. But NP have now taken out all the tier 2 towers. And let's see if they're going to threaten high ground while Bushi is still down for 45 seconds.
Good news is that you still have Rikiko the Light that can just send you back. And NP going to realize that this isn't really going to happen. No Aegis on any of their cores anymore.
So back to shrine killing and map control, it seems.
Yes, as they're going to take out this North Shrine, get control of the jungle. That's a very heavily placed board. Says at bottom, Fnatic going to rotate down. Maybe going to try to set up on Envy, but Envy should just get out after this wave.
See if he's going to be greedy. Oh, he actually blinks for it.
Yamata might have the angle here.
They're going to be able to catch him here if he gets the instant. Oh! Half a second too late from Yamate. Doesn't manage to lock down the Ember Spirit, and Envy gets away scot-free.
That is absurd reaction time by Envy. Well known for his Ember, especially at the Shanghai Major and the Frankfurt Major.
Yeah, that incredible game between EG and Secret back at the Frankfurt Major. Yamate's going to be caught here, sends back Eternal Envy. He doesn't care. Sleight of Fist actually dodges that attempt. Either way, he would have died to MSS.
This is just the life of a disruptor in a game where you're waiting for your team to farm. Doesn't really have a lot of options.
So do we just go, he's going to go into Lincoln's here, but after that, we'd go for the full Octarine and we just go for the permanent, you know, Icerium chains you forever sort of situation?
It looks like he's still trying to go for the Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah.
I think going for more damage, though, has a lot of merit here. The build that you see oftentimes in pubs is going for the Veil into the Radiance, which is what we saw Weehaw do yesterday.
Yeah.
Fan of that. As top, Bebby is the hero that you definitely want to kill. He's the one holding the pushes back.
With the Necronomicon, it should be easy for the humans to stop that ultimate. Rose going to be held in place for quite some time. Does manage to still hit Bebby with the Necronomicons on top. They will be able to get that kill. Rose is backing himself away. That amplified damage is just enough for Bushi to be able to get that one kill. And NUI actually got locked in by the Bushi ultimate. But it moves off his back wall combination, and that allows the Ember Spirit to do big damage. They're going to try and chase Bushi in. Diving for the shrine. Just managed to get that one up. The shrine has value here, but it's just not enough. The damage is too big from NP. SVG lets it go. Now the buybacks start coming out from Fnatic as they desire to hold that tier 3 tower for now, but it's going to be coming at a big cost to their network.
Right now, only 3 heroes alive. The Queen of Pain does not have any semblance of farm that's going to scare NP at this point. Is they're going to continue to play aggressively here.
Vacuum almost catching in your dream, but he does manage to back himself away just in time.
In that last engagement as well, Ohio went for the stun before the blink, and if he had been able to get it off, maybe they could have killed the Slark, as he was quite low, but as a result, AUI just able to pop the BKB, turn that around with the help of Envy.
Yeah. This Darkseer is going to be so big. He's actually, he's not going to complete out the pipe. He just gets the Hood of Defiance, and then is going to go for the Plate Mail, assuming Shiva's.
Yes.
With his blink.
Going to be incredibly tanky here for them.
And we already have a Basher being built up by AUI looking for that full Abyssal Blade.
And right now, they're going to go for the smoke, and this might be one of the last attempts in the game for Fnatic to get back into it, as they've just lost too much. Without any buybacks available too, this is quite the aggressive maneuver for them, and I like it. They're playing to win, rather than just waiting inside their base.
Unfortunately. So many times SVG, he's played the sacrificial lamb in this game, and he will be the one to take that smoke. That is not the kill that Fnatic were looking for. They were looking for a big engagement, at least a core pickoff, but SVG is the one to slide in front of that smoke instead.
And there is a Lincoln's now available for Envy. You've got a pipe completed onto MSS, who does decide to finish it up. Their team is just going to be so tanky right now.
Yeah, and there's just, it seems like Mushi does not have nearly enough damage. Even if he completes the butterfly, we still need another big ticket item for him to actually threaten these heroes with such a high amount of armor and mobility.
He's been at that Eagle Song for quite some time, as does have the buyback available.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And right now, Fnatic, they've got a smoke. Looks like they want to go for it again. They are grouped up here, and Mushi doesn't get into it, but
They probably don't want him, right? He's going to show somewhere on the map and they can bring him in with the coddle.
yeah, I mean, they're still making the moves that they should. You have to show somebody on the map. If nobody's pushing on lanes, then NP is just going to group up as 5 and play very defensively. But if you show Mushi at bottom, then maybe it forces them to split up a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe NP assume like, oh, they're probably just sitting 4 behind the Medusa, so...
Yes, but NP only sending out SPG.
All right, the Crystal Maiden's going to take the gank once again. They bring in Medusa, but she blinks back. Still going to be hit by Ohio. The charge is nice. It's not a bowling ball there for Rome. Doesn't manage to knock out these heroes. And Ultimate comes out from Queen of Pain, which just doesn't seem to be enough. And Ultimate from Mushi buys some time, but there's just none of these heroes from NP that are low enough. They've killed Crystal Maiden, but NP are cleaning up all of the health of Mushi. They're going to try and charge in once again. Now the crush comes out on it too. But again, NP, they just seem so tanky. They don't care about Mushi's damage. They're just going to be able to wipe out all the supporting crew behind Mushi and leave him for last. NP wipe out Fnatic there and will get the last couple of desserts there. Bevy, he'll go down as well. That'll be a gem dropped as well. Fnatic have no semblance of map control, no net worth to fall back on, no real progression in items. It just looks gloomier and gloomier for the C team.
Yeah, and AUI gonna pause the game, but at the same time, buyback. Who's it available right now?
There
Beyond
is
Medusa.
a buyback on just the Dusa. It's gonna be rough. The Slark has a double damage to pick up as well. He's got a decent number of essence shifts, so they can actually go for Roshan if they really wanted to. More likely though, right, they're gonna go down mid and force the buyback and then back up for Roshan.
Yeah. And Fnatic, I mean, they made that aggressive move, but they're just so far behind in net worth right now.
It was desperation smokes,
Yeah.
right?
4 out of their 5 heroes just don't really do anything. They just don't have the farm. They haven't kept up with the pace of the game, and it just felt like they were way too content to farm. Their Keep of the Light was probably like, I'm really close to Axe, let's wait for that. Slaughter was saying probably, I'm really close to the Blink Dagger, so they just had to wait. And during that time period, NP got so aggressive around the map, so many different smokes targeted. Right after that, they take a tower, they push the advantage forward, and Fnatic.
I mean, we were talking about this before the series, though. It's the inherent problem with Fnatic that we see right now is that both the supports are rather greedy support styles. Yamate, known as more of a core player, has been playing rather greedy support, and Fevi, also known as a greedier support. And we definitely saw that. It's both the picks as well as the playstyles. Neither Disruptor and Keeper of the Light are heroes that you think of that are like, okay, they combo up with the Slardar and they're going to go and get a whole bunch of early kills, but it is also a bit of playstyle.
Yeah, your 2 playmakers in this game, your real playmakers are your Disruptor and your Slardar. Your Slardar had such a rough game. He was level 5 for a long period of time, picked up the Blink Dagger around the 22-minute mark, so he couldn't really do anything. Yamate, I mean, he's a Disruptor kind of running around without his partner. We talked about it early on. If they're going to have a good game, it's going to be on the heels of the Slardar and the Disruptor working together. But they were never really able to get online, and so you're in a position where, as a Disruptor player, you're sitting there. You're just walking around, occasionally dropping wards, hiding behind heroes, and you immediately get gone on. You have to throw down those reactionary ultimates, and by that time you're already dead. You're not able to get the ring off.
Yeah, most of the time he was just sitting there and there wasn't anything happening besides NP just kind of farming away. You get back underway here. Eternal Envy gonna go ahead and TP up to the top lane, keep some pressure there while his team helps push out mid. So they've got 45 seconds left on the Medusa, and a good 20 seconds at least before they feel any power of Fnatic to be able to stop this push. Nice jump forward there from Eternal Envy, seeing the opportunity to get that extra pick. Yamate not respecting the distance that Eternal Envy would go to secure an extra kill. Now they're going to be able to get that lane of Rax for free for sure. And we'll still have to see whether or not they're going to buy back on the Dusa. 25 seconds left, but the Slardar and the Keeper of the Light just coming up now.
NP immediately going to signal his team to start going mid. As 3v5, they really don't want to take this fight.
It seems like they're just going to get potentially a melee racks here for free. Would have buys a bit of time, but that double damage allowed AEY to so quickly wipe through these buildings.
Right now, Fnatic got to make a stand. That's going to be 2 lanes down on melee racks, and Roshan is up as well.
NP, everything's in their hands. 2 lanes of racks down, back up, get the big objective of Roshan. I'm sure they still have some big ticket items that they can grab as well. It looks like AEY's got like 3k gold in the bank. Eternal Envy actually has 4k. He is going to be going for the Octarine rather than the Radiance build, it seems.
I like that in a game like this.
Because he's got a damage dealer in Slark.
Yeah, they're so far ahead right now.
Yeah.
It would make him really tanky, just the raw HP that he'd get from it as well.
Sure.
Fnatic already have a hard time killing any of the cores. They're going to make an aggressive step forward, but unfortunately for them, it is now nighttime.
They've been hesitant to move outside of their base during nighttime before.
Charge going to come on to Mushi as Rose thinks twice about it. The rest of his team not that fast.
Maybe he was just thinking, I'm just getting some vision on him for now. I mean, Rose is so tanky actually. Necronomicon plus Solar Crest, he's got 2100 HP.
As a support Spirit Breaker, not going to go down easily.
So with that Solar Crest, they'll easily be able to take down Roshan. That'll be just the second Roshan, so lane ages for NP, but seems to be more than enough to make this a game where Fnatic require a miracle to be able to have a comeback.
He's rapidly closing in on the level 25 talent. The 2 seconds extra of the Searing Chains.
We are going to get a BKB out of Mushi, it seems. He can buy it now, though maybe he wants to save up for buyback still.
No, I honestly think you should play for it.
Yeah.
If your team is already in a position where Medusa has to buy back a game like this, I'm imagining the rest of Fnatic have already died. Yeah.
That's a big problem though, right? Because this BKB does not add a whole lot of damage to the Medusa's arsenal. She's already been looking a bit lackluster against these very tanky heroes of NP.
Yeah. SVG picked up a BKB as well.
So we can go ahead, Blink, Frostbite, BKB, and let that freezing field go.
You've got 2 of the least enjoyable supports to play in the game when you're behind, Crystal Maiden and Disruptor. And one of them is going to have a great game at bottom.
They're going to be able to hit the crush, but Eternal Envy dancing around with that Sleight of Fist. Now has the +2 seconds on Searing Chains.
That's it.
Bit of pressure there, but I think the Slark is just seeing if he can actually force some sort of big ability to be used. Maybe Mushi drops the Stone Gaze, and then for that next 90 seconds, they feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and AUI gonna get jumped on, but again, as the BKB, unafraid of anything, as Mushi gonna get poked and prodded. As it looks like NP a little bit hesitant to try to force an engagement, but the time might be soon.
Slark perhaps looking for one support that's going to be trying to push out this top lane, instead be met by Mushi.
There are just sentries everywhere right now as Envy get a chance going up, start the initiation on a Mushi.
He's going to be able to get some damage out, but it's just, Fnatic actually can't really do much to respond. Ohio is kind of sitting on the side waiting for his meteor to come up already. Mushi's been dropped so low, he's going to be able to keep that Medusa in place for quite some time until they hit the crush. Now the vacuum comes out, and they are going to be able to get away with Eternal Envy, and they're trying to run Havoc with the big wall. Once again, the on-lane from NP just comes in at the perfect time. They'll lock down Mushi as well. Pops man, pops BKB, still cannot get back to the fountain, and that'll be no buyback for NP. A great static storm, but it means nothing if there's no damage to follow it up. NP very easily take this game.
What an absolute shellacking as NP just rolled through Fnatic. Fnatic only taking 1 tower in a game like this. Just were not able to utilize the lineup whatsoever. Felt like they were way too happy being passive in a game like that. And NP, at the end of the game, none of their cores have a death. So well done by the entire team though.
Oh yeah, I mean, it seems like we